Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. So tell me something. When the weather is nice and bright, what is it that you like to do? Have some cool ice cream, a glass of lemonade, or just sit in the shade and relax, right? At the same time, when the weather is very wet and when you know that monsoons are in the air, what is it that you like to do? Perhaps catch a hot mug of coffee, sit down with a good book, and curl up, right? So, in our own way, we manage the weather. And do we need to manipulate the weather? If I were to ask you, we don't manipulate the weather, but at the same time, we are able to manage the weather so that we feel comfortable. This is how we need to tackle our relationships. A lot of times in relationships, especially with our loved ones, what tends to happen is we either blame them for not treating us nicely or we feel victimized by them. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a mother who is constantly criticizing your father. A very normal scenario, you may say, and this I'm talking about grown ups. Now, as a grown up, do you like listening to your mother criticizing your father? Of course, you don't. But what is it that you tell yourself? Poor thing, she has had a hard life. If she doesn't tell me, whom is she going to tell? Right. You want to be there for your parent, but at the same time, you feel tired, you feel manipulated, and you feel helpless. So, what is it that you could do? There are some things that can be done to manage these situations. A lot of times, we don't even let ourselves think about it because we feel guilty about being the bad child. So, understand some things. You cannot parent your parents. Yes, you heard me right. You cannot parent your elders, but you definitely can preserve yourself and understand that while you can be there to talk to them when things are difficult, you need not put up with certain comments which do not do anything for your mental sanity. So let's look at it. If your mother is criticizing your father, what is it that you could do? Usually, what we do is over the years, women tend to talk about their problems a lot more, and especially to their young children. So, when a child is growing up, a child feels like the world is absolutely through his or her mother's eyes. So, when the mother feels victimized, when the mother feels as though no one is looking after her, she may be absolutely right. Now, I ask you as a healthy adult, whose responsibility is it if someone is not treating you well? You yourself as an adult, right? So, doesn't that same logic apply to your mother, however old she may be? Now, if we look at our politicians, most of them are in their 60s, 70s, or even their 80s. Yet we trust them to teach us, to lead us. Some of the best professors I know have done their best work in their 60s and 70s. So, if you have a parent of that age, whose responsibility is it for them to handle their marriage? Yours or theirs? So, that is where you need to step up and realize that perhaps you have always looked at relationships from the lens of one parent, where it's their responsibility to handle their relationships, not yours. So, how do you manage yourself? Firstly, you must understand that you somewhere felt that I need to please my parent so that life is beautiful. No, that's a very faulty way to think. You need to be there for your parents, listen to them, but at the same time, you need to expect them to take care of their challenges and their life. You're not a garbage cleaner. What you need to do is handle your own life and see, is there constant criticism of their spouse somewhere seeping into your own marriage or the way you are managing your children? In my experience, people who are having issues in their marriage invariably have an elderly parent who has spoken very deeply about the challenges that they face in their marriage without talking about the good side of the marriage. So, as a grown up, you struggle in relationships. The message that you have got while growing up is someone else is responsible for your happiness, and if that person does not cater to your needs, you criticize him or her, blame him or her instead of working on yourself. Invariably, you bring it into your own parenting style. So, if you do not want to be manipulative in relationships or do not want to get manipulated, understand this simple logic, which we all know but rarely acknowledge. Each one of us has a responsibility to handle our life. When the weather is not conducive, we know what to do to feel good and manage ourselves. In the same way, everyone has to handle their relationships, irrespective of age, irrespective of the challenges. I know this is very uncomfortable for most of us, but this is what tough love is all about, and this is what helps us grow and develop in spite of challenges in our lives. How do we do it? Because we can only do it when the focus is on ourselves and how are we contributing to our problems. Once we focus there, we are smart, intelligent, beautiful people who can take care of our lives. So, have a good day and let me know if there's any particular topic that you want me to talk about. Bye bye.